We're just going to sit here and talk about him, and we'll get into the types of dudes. Is Randy Moss a stud or a freak? Is Tom Brady a dog or a dude's dude?
We're going to find out, Jules. New episodes drop every Thursday during the NFL season.
Listen to Dudes on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Dudes on Dudes to start listening.
When the world just seems too crazy.
Gaze into the eyes of a child, because you'll probably find a booger. And man, is that a hoot. The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Hey, you want to give me a text? 35192 to do that. I got more money for you here in about 5 minutes, closer to 2:30. Next keyword for you to grab a grand, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. So make sure you got your ears peeled for each and every one of these, because you get them about 30 past the hour. Got a handful of Brian calls I'm going to play for you throughout the show. See if you can guess the songs he's trying to sing. Got to talk to actor Danny Trejo a little bit later on. He's providing a voice in a cartoon movie, kids movie, called, the hell is it called? Gracie and Pedro? Something like that. Pets to the Rescue. And he's no stranger to voiceovers, of course, in cartoons. Very distinctive voice. He was on Rick and Morty. He's on a lot of kids' cartoons. That's good money, too, boy. When you can get I know you've been trying to do that.
I have.
You get a cartoon voice in anything, make a little bit of extra scratch. Cavaliers play tonight. Your Guardians are not back in Cleveland until tomorrow afternoon to play Game 3 against the Yankees. But the Cavs against the Pistons tonight. Still preseason action, but an opportunity to kind of see what these guys are doing. Cavs are 0-2. The Detroit Pistons are a little bit better than that. They were a terrible team last season. The Pistons were the Chicago White Sox of the NBA. But they're at the Little Caesars Arena tonight. Cavs, Pistons in Detroit. We'll roll today around 6:30. Get your pregame coverage underway. First tip-off at 7 o'clock. I have to transition now between first pitch and tip-off.
Different.
First tip is what I like to call it.
It's perfect.
First tip at 7 o'clock tonight on your FM home for Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. We have relatives who live in Asheville, North Carolina. My wife's aunt and uncle. And they were all in Michigan a few weekends ago. She had gone for another one of her cousins who were getting married. And her aunt and uncle were there. They were in Michigan when that hurricane blew through. What was the one before Milton? Helene. When Hurricane Helene was the one that tore through the Carolinas there and just kind of laid waste to a lot of parts of that state that people didn't think would be affected because Appalachia, it's much higher elevation. Anyway, Asheville really got. So they didn't know what the hell they were going back to. And as luck would have it, when they finally did get back there, they had power, but they had no water. And most people in Asheville, as of today, and we've got bureau chiefs there, they're probably way too busy to be checking in. I haven't heard a couple of weeks from anybody in Asheville, but just the people in our family. Still no water.
Jeez.
So on the one hand, my mind goes, well, power accounts for a lot. So you've got power, but water,
you can't shower,
obviously you can't do anything.
pee,
There's businesses that can't be open.
Yeah,
you can't. And they're telling people, they're like, look, we're trying. There's so much that goes into this, and we're really trying to get that infrastructure up and running again. But it could literally be months before the bulk of the people there in Asheville have full access to those kinds of, I hesitate to even call it an amenity. It's not really, it's a necessity. Access to necessities like that. And so we are in a time now where even the weather has become politicized. And you see more and more stories about like TV weather people, meteorologists, not so much locally, but like people who are on national television, getting death threats because of all of the hurricane and weather-related conspiracy theories. Milton and Helene came through one after the other. So people who had been, flattened by Helene really had no time to kind of get up and running before Milton came through. They're already tracking more storms off the eastern coast of Florida that could blow through the southern part of that state. And so when people like Trump and MAGA types get out there and go, oh, all that FEMA money is going to migrants and illegal immigrants and all this nonsense that's quantifiably false, then, of course, A to B to C, you end up with a situation like FEMA in North Carolina, which is trying to help people get things up and running again. They had to put things on hold because there were armed militias running them out of where they were trying to help.
Well, yeah, because they're controlled by the liberal media.
There you go.
Don't you understand?
Because FEMA used to go, I think the SOP for them used to be door to door, right? You'd go through, hey, what state is this? Your house, whatever. And now FEMA's like, well, we're kind of just setting up fixed locations when people can come to us. That's not really the way it's supposed to go. They've got the National Guard there too, but the National Guard was running into good old boys, our local militias who said that they were out there hunting FEMA, which sounds like a lot of fun when, it's really got to be some cognitive dissonance if you're a guy in one of these militias who really needs help because your house doesn't have power or water. And you're like, well, there's people here to help, but I got to get out there and hunt me some FEMA. So,
But can you imagine FEMA workers like we're just trying to find water, guys.
And that's what these people are saying. These people are like, look, I'm just
trying to get bottled water.
This isn't the X-Files, man. FEMA, we're not. There's been, decades and decades of all this right-wing hooey about FEMA setting up concentration camps and all this crap. And they're like, we're just trying to figure out what people need. We're just here to help. And they're underfunded, and that's not coincidental either. They're underfunded. There's a lot of people who work for FEMA that are like, they're spread too thin. Like, I can't do, and as these storms come through with more severity and more frequency, they're going to be stretched even thinner. So I guess they arrested one of the guys who vocally threatened them. There was a guy with a handgun and a rifle, said he was out hunting FEMA. Some 44-year-old dude from some jerkwater town in North Carolina. And they scooped him up. But those people are out there trying to, kind of help people get up and running again. And there's only so much they can do. I mean, they can't rebuild your house, right, if your property has been destroyed or whatever. But our relatives who live in Asheville, which is a beautiful part of the country, a lot of that town has kind of been laid to waste. And so our family members, they have power, but like going on 3 weeks with no water. So I don't know how you do that. When those storms came through, the tornadoes that blew through where I live this summer, we had, and a lot of people in this area did. I was kibitzing with people who were living in other parts of Northeast Ohio that didn't have power. I had an appearance that weekend, and I was just chatting with people, and they were like, yeah, we don't have power either. Some people had generators, and that was only 5 days. We had water. We didn't have power. So, to that degree, you're kind of like, it's kind of like camping. It sucks. It's inconvenient, but whatever. It'll be fine. The trucks will get out there. Something like this. They're like, yeah, we don't have water. Can't take a dump in our own home. I got money for you. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard bookie. Somebody wins every hour, and I hope it is you. So good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Deposit. That's deposit. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Alan, I'm sure somebody has corrected you. The capacity of Yankee Stadium is 46,000 people. Isn't that what you said? What did you say?
52,000 as of 2024.
There you go. 52,000. And that's not even one of the top 5 or 6 capacity ballparks. Ironically, I think the biggest MLB ballpark in the country is where the Oakland A's were playing.
Well, because it was
and that town team just left the town.
Because that was also a football stadium
Is that where the Raiders played
yeah,
too?
There was the Oakland Coliseum, so it was gigantic.
That's like 60,000 people at the Oakland Coliseum.
In 2022, they added standing room only, extending the capacity from 46,000 to 52,000.
There you go. Dodger Stadium, Coors Field, Rogers Center, that's where the Toronto Blue Jays play. And Chase Field, those are all your biggest fields.
Bill, you missed it. I sat up high behind home plate, and I really enjoyed those seats.
I told ya!
Even being a seat snob, being directly behind home plate.
That's what I was saying. Like when you're off to the side, it's different. But when you're
that's what I said. I said if we were even one section left or right, I would have been pretty upset. But we were dead center, first row, so there was nobody in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
We were up against the glass, and that was pretty cool.
That's a good seat.
Preferred to be one section closer, same seats, but for $145, it was pretty awesome.
Well, tickets are much cheaper now for the Cleveland game.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Alan, my tickets for tomorrow night's game are $150 each, and they're in the last row of the upper deck.
Dude, sell them and get on that freaking app, that Game Time app. Hashtag not an ad.
Or just sell them. And watch the game from home.
Dude, so my buddy here on Z100, Josh Martinez, he's a Yankees fan, diehard, like tattooed Yankees symbol on his arm. Yes. And we were chatting before the show about the game. He swooped up because he gets like the on-sale pre-codes or whatever, pre-sale codes.
From the Yankees, yeah.
From the Yankees because his family's been buying them forever. So he got Game 7 tickets. If it were to go to Game 7 for the World Series, he bought them already. And if it doesn't go that far, then you just get your money back for $1,500 each, okay? Like section 330, so a section below where I was. So not all the way in the back, like third section up. He said they were $1,500 each. I said, so if you were to go to the World Series, like Game 7, how much would these tickets sell for? And he was like, it depends. He's like, if we're playing the Dodgers, there would be no Game 7 in Yankee Stadium because they have home field advantage. He goes, but if we were to play the Mets... He goes, if it was New York versus New York to 7 games, he goes, I could easily make $20,000 a piece on these tickets. I was like, get the hell out of here. He's like, I am not
He's
kidding.
not joking.
He's like, I am not. He's like, there is money in this city and people are dedicated. He's like, it doesn't get a bigger rival than 2 New York teams.
Yeah.
Game 7, he was like, I could make a year's salary on these 2 tickets alone. I'm like, that's crazy, dude. 20 friggin' grand, get out of here.
Have you talked? Didn't Josh Martinez do radio in Ohio for a little bit?
Dayton.
Have you talked? Okay, there you go. Because I know he voice tracks, like he's on, my buddy's on Top 40 Station in Chicago. I think Josh is on there too, but he's on in Dayton.
Yeah, he voice tracks to Chicago. His wife and daughter are still in Dayton.
Ah.
So he kind of did a similar thing what I did.
Oh, he just left Dayton?
His daughter's 1. So.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they met when he was on in Dayton and got together and everything, and then he moved out here. But does he what?
Does he know Dick
from
He
Dayton?
might. I don't know.
You should ask him.
Yeah,
Hey, do you know Dick
video.
from Dayton?
But yeah.
Does this sound familiar?
But I'll come. How about that?
Oh, come on. But yeah, he said he swooped up Game 7 for this series, and those were only like $400 each. And then Game 7 for the World Series, he paid $1,500 each that he said he could sell for $20. I don't know about all that, but pretty crazy stuff.
Well, people love the Subway Series. I should say people in New York love it. Nobody else cares when it's Yankees-Mets, but media likes it. They'd much rather have that than anything else, any other permutation. I got more Brian, if you want to guess what he's on a bit of a kick today. I don't know that you guys will know these songs. I knew them pretty quickly, but...
You're as perfect as gold. You think it comes so naturally. I couldn't give a damn or two for a fool like you. That's true.
I have no idea what that is.
No clue.
He's singing Ozzy. If you're not an Ozzy fans probably picked that up immediately. I don't know if he had Jake E. Lee on the brain. Singing the song off The Ultimate Sin.
You're as perfect as gold. You think it comes so
It is Ozzy Weekend. It's Ozzy Weekend.
It
so
is
yeah,
Ozzy
he's
Weekend
on.
on the Buzzard. He is kind of slaughtering the lyrics, but he's having fun with it.
You're as perfect as gold. You think it comes so naturally. I couldn't give a damn or two for a fool like you. That's true.
Yeah, Fool Like You off The Ultimate Sin. Ozzy Osbourne. It's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame weekend. And if you look closely, you'll see all of us there at the Romo Fijo. Oh, wait, no, you won't. But we are doing, that to Off the Ultimate Sin, of course. And we're doing the big Ozzy weekend. Doing Ozzy double shots at the top of every hour. He's already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Black Sabbath. But he'll be getting in as a solo artist. Can't believe it took Ozzy this long to get in as a solo artist.
Yeah, it's a little crazy that it's, he's in he's like 78?
Something like that. Yeah.
All right, we'll let Ozzy in.
When people refer to the Mount Rushmore of rock stars, I think a lot of people would think of Ozzy Osbourne. But he was on an Ozzy kick.
And when did he start his solo stuff? Probably the mid-70s?
1980, I think, was his
80?
first
Okay,
solo
all
album.
right.
Yeah, I think Blizzard of Oz was probably 1980. He got fired from Black Sabbath, and he said, I'll show you. And then he went, and again, Ozzy is, God bless him. He's never been an amazing singer, but he's got that, whatever.
He's got the right voice for
the
what
joie
he
de
does.
vivre.
Yeah.
He's got that X factor.
They say I worship the devil. They must be stupid, all right. I'm just a rock and roll rebel.
Rock and Roll Rebel, another great
They
Ozzy
say I
song.
worship the devil.
Yep.
They must be stupid, all right. I'm just a rock and roll rebel.
God, I remember when the first couple of Ozzy albums came out, and he went on like one of those first solo tours. And we were camping out to get Ozzy tickets because I don't know if it was that first tour, but they used to run these commercials where you could, Saturday camp out in front of, we had Sam Goody locations or Marshall Fields, which was one of the big department stores, but they had Ticketmaster box office, and you'd camp out back in the day. And then when the ticket window would open, you'd get up there, and they were playing Rock and Roll Rebel all the time. The tour we went to see Ozzy, it was a band called Motley Crue.
What happened
that
to
nobody had ever heard of. They kind of faded
did
into
they make
relative
it?
obscurity. I don't know that I've heard anything from them since, but Motley Crue was opening for Ozzy Osbourne. And, of course, a lot of stories came from those tours. Motley Crue was a band that apparently felt like they needed to one-up Ozzy at every turn, and in a lot of instances, they did. He's probably like, who are these whippersnaps who also want to snort ants with me? That sounds like a lot of fun. But Brian on an Ozzy kick and, of course, doing the big Ozzy weekend. Hall of Fame weekend. The Romo Fijo. They all get in Saturday night. I got a break. I'll have those Kerry King tickets for you. Slayer not in the Rock Hall. But they should be, quite frankly. Kerry King going back on the solo tour. That will bring him to Cleveland on January 31st. He's going to play the House of Blues. If you want to go, I'll hook you up coming back.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7